Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy March Madness yet again. So, today I don't really have a vlog because today was just crazy busy at work. But I did want to touch on a story time subject. As you can see by the title, this video is about joy. So the other day on my birthday vlog, I showed this card that Dallas and Corey gave me, and it said that this will remind you of joy. And I was gotten several comments saying, where was joy, what happened to joy? And it made me realize that I really never put out there what happened with joy. So for those of you who don't know, Joy was our family dog, a gray pit bull that we had. We got Joy in October of 2012 when she was 2 months old, and we had her until just recently. So she's been the family dog for the last 10 years. But sadly she died. Well, okay, so if you guys remember, for those of you who are new here, Joy had she had this tumor on her side. I'll pop a picture up. And it had been there for almost 2 years, actually. And at the time, like 2 years ago, I took her to the vet, and they was like, it's just fatty tissue, blah, blah, blah. Before then, actually, when Mr. was still alive, we had taken her to the vet, and they said that she was having, because she would have like blood in her urine. So they was like, oh, there was something wrong with her lady parts. She had puppies one time years ago, and then we never breeded her again. But they said that we should have gotten her fixed, which we never did. So when we had took her to the vet the first time, they was like, oh, her, I guess it's her uterus. The dogs have a uterus, right? It was messed up, and she needed to get this surgery or she was gonna die, and she only had a couple weeks to live and all this stuff. This was in 2019, and my husband was like, we're not gonna spend $4,000 on a surgery, and it's no guarantee that she's gonna die anyway. He's like, no, that's just not, we love her, but we're not gonna spend that money, especially if there's no guarantee. And I've always had this weird thing with the vet. You would take them, they take them back, and I'm like, are y'all really doing something back there, or y'all just sitting there feeding her cookies, and then you come back like, oh yeah, we did this, and this. I don't know, she can't tell me what y'all did back there. But so we were just like, okay, well, if she's not there, like if she's not in any pain, we'll just monitor her. And she was fine. And then a year later, she started developing this little lump on her side. And they were like, took her back, and they were like, as long as it's not growing, it's okay, just some fatty tissues. And the same thing, because this time we took her to the SPCA, and they were like, if you want to have her fixed, we could do that. It might or might not solve the problem. It wasn't a guarantee. So it was like no sense in having her operated on if it was no guarantee, especially in her age. She was 10 years old. So then last summer it did start getting, it started getting a little bit bigger, and she was slowing down a lot more too. Like she should sleep on the bed. She would have trouble jumping up on the bed. The last like 6 or 7 months, she would get so scared to go down the stairs, like she was gonna fall. And a couple times she did tumble a little bit. So that was a concern also. Just kind of watched her, and they had told me that it was, it was like a tumor, and if you guys remember, she probably should have been put down last summer. But, at the time, I just was not in the right mind to put her to sleep. I was concerned about the kids because, she's been around for all the pregnancies, all the babies, They're used to her. And I'm thinking about them because it was hard getting them through when my husband died. And then a few months after that, Dallas lost another grandparent. It was a lot. And then, so that happened in like August or September. So then it's like, well, I can't put her down in October because that's the month Mr. died. Then it's like, I can't do it in November. It's Thanksgiving. Who kills their dog at Thanksgiving? And it was Christmas and New Year. But in January, she was really just not, she was not really eating properly. She wasn't wanting to drink a whole lot. Every time she used the bathroom, it was just straight blood. There was no urine. It was all blood. And then she just was really tired, and she just, the last 3 days, she slept downstairs. And if you knew Joy, she was spoiled. She was not sleeping anywhere by herself. She was in the bed. We spooning every night. That's how close we were. And she just could not come up the stairs, and she just was not, not herself. And it just had to be done. And I don't know, it was January 16th, Martin Luther King Day. I didn't have to go to work. That whole weekend, she was just not with it at all. So I called around. I had been researching. I called around to some places, and I found one, and I liked the reviews that they had. I liked the, what I saw, what I read. So I made an appointment, and I took her in, and it was like the whole day, it was just like so sad. And I laid out downstairs, we had a blanket down there for her. She laid on the blanket, and I just sat on the couch and just kind of sat with her. And all day she would come by, and I would pet her and all this, because the appointment wasn't until like 2 something. So it was like all day where I just had to know what was happening. And I was just like an emotional wreck. And this is why I haven't talked about it, because I'm about to cry. So I took her, and, I took her in, and the place was nice. They let me in the room with her, and they explained what they were going to do, how they were going to do it. So they first gave her, like a sleepy shot. And that kind of took effect after a couple minutes. She was standing there, and then she was, like starting to fall. So I'm just crying and crying and crying. And I'm like talking to her, and, I prayed over her. I'm telling her how wonderful she is and all this stuff. And she was like falling because the medicine, but she was trying to fight it. So she's falling down, and it was just horrible. I was just a hot mess, and I was by myself. I didn't want anybody to go with me, because, I just needed that time with me and her. And so then they were going to take her. They were going to, do the euthanization, and I couldn't stay in the room for that. So I sat in the lobby, like right at the door, and I could hear her, not like, just kind of whining a little bit. And I was just crying and crying and crying. And this other couple came in with their dog, and I'm sitting there bawling, and I could tell that they were just like, oh. But so that was that. The place that I took her was really great. The people that worked there were really sweet, and they talked me through everything. The doctor came out, and he let me know that it was taking longer than they expected for her to pass, because she was extremely dehydrated. And I felt so bad, and I'm just like, I've been trying to get her to eat and drink, and she just didn't want to do it. So it was tough. But they gave me a little printout they put her paw prints on a piece of paper which I have framed, and it's next to Mr. And his ashes on my bedpost thing. So I get, I see her paws, and it's next to him. I can show y'all. And so I did, what is it? The communal thing, where they cremated her, and then I guess they have like a burial ground or a field or something, and they put them into places like that. And I did that for 2 reasons. The main reason was cost, because the cost was expensive. And then to add on to keep her ashes would have been an extra cost that I just couldn't justify paying when, there was no need for me to keep her ashes. And then I did it because, like, I don't need to keep her ashes. I have her paw prints, and I have all of my memories, so I was like, it's nothing that I would do with it anyway. So that's why I did that. But that was their community, something part of it. So yeah, that was January 16th. And then, so the kids knew, well, except for Drew, she's too young to understand death, but Dallas and Corey, they were told that it was going to happen. So they knew beforehand and everything. And it probably was like 2 weeks later, because I had Joy as my screensaver on my phone, and up until that time, Drew never said anything, but she wanted to look at something on my phone. So when I opened it, she saw a picture, and she was like, "Bubby, where's Joy?" And I was like, oh, here we go. And I was like, well, Joy's not here anymore. And she was like, is she in the backyard? And I was like, no, she's not in the backyard. She's not here anymore. And she was like, did she just leave? Like, with an attitude. She's like, did she just leave? And I was like, I said, yeah, she had to go. She's not here anymore. And she's like, oh. And I think probably 2 or 3 more times after that, she said something like, Joy's gone. Joy's not here anymore. And I'm like, yeah. But, it's not in a sad way. She just kind of remembers. But it was tough, like she was the family pet for 10 years, and we really miss her. I try not to really talk about it too much because I am an emotional person, and if I talk about it, I'll just cry. So it's best to just kind of not. I'll think about her, I'll think about Mr. and all that type of stuff, but I just try not to have it in the front of my mind because I know how I am. But I realized that I didn't sort of give you guys a real explanation of what happened. But yes, Joy has crossed over the Rainbow Bridge to doggy heaven, and it's been almost 2 months now, and it's weird, like, especially when I come home after work or at nighttime if I've been hanging out, because normally when I would come in the door, I could hear her stand. She'd normally be on my bed, and all you would hear was her jump off the bed. You hear her feet hit the floor, and then she'd go to the top of the steps, and she'd look down to see who come in the house, and then she would come down the stairs. So that, like, I miss hearing her feet hit the floor, and then she start running. But it should have happened way before it did, but I was selfishly keeping her, just just for my own. I just wasn't ready, but I knew once she really started having trouble that I couldn't let her suffer anymore. So yeah, that's what happened to Joy. So this is where I have her paw prints, and I just keep it next to Mr. Picture and the little bit of ashes I have left of his, and my candle. I still burn that on the 28th of every month for a few minutes. I figure I depressed y'all, so let's cheer everybody up. Look, I got these scratch offs, and I won. Well, these was actually ones my daughter had, but you had to get 3 symbols, so that got 3 keys, and it won $2. And then this one had 2 symbols plus a 2 times, so you win double. The prize was $2, so this won 4. And then this one, you just match the numbers and match the 7 and won $2. So that's $8. And then this is a $5 ticket that won $50. Look at that, win 50. So yay, $58. We got some money. We got some money. I'm actually on my way to the movies with JT. She wants to go see Creed as part of her birthday week, so we're gonna go to the movies. Came to McDonald's to get me some fries. Look, it's back. It's time. It's the Shamrock Shake. Look how pretty that is. We were just talking about this when we was trying those cookies, and Deja said that the mint chocolate chip one smelled like the Shamrock Shake, but she knows I love it and she hates it. Oh my god, it's thick. Oh goodness. Oh, that's so good. I know it's an acquired taste, but I love it, and you only get it this time of year at McDonald's. So we like the Shamrock Shake. Every time it's the season, I get one. So I get one once a week, and that'll fill me up till next year. I need to melt a little bit. This thing is thick as I don't know. I wonder if I could sneak this into movie theater. I had to hurry up and drink it.
Hotels. So if you're not
go to
staying
movies
here,
without the
just
popcorn
think what you might be missing.
and the little, what do you call it? Contraband. And the almost birthday girl. She not eating popcorn. Black folk. Oh, chicken. It's crunchy too. Popcorn. I just get the big one so you can refill it and make snack bags for the rest of the week. Alrighty, guys. About to go home. The movie was really good. Saw Creed, and it was a very good movie. I would not ruin it for you, but I did enjoy the storyline. Before I go, I'm going to give you the ASL lesson for today, and since I just saw a movie, I decided I will give you the sign for movie. So your hand is flat, this hand is up here, like your non-dominant hand is this way, and your dominant hand there, and you're moving it back and forth like that. So kind of like the movie projector. So you can say, let's go to the movies. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.